Bienvenue à tous. Welcome to Reporters here on France 24. I'm Mark Owen. In this edition, kicked out of their homes, in some cases they've been there for more than a decade, sent back to their country of origin. It may sound inhuman. It's happening under our noses here in the European Union. This week's Reporters follows the plight of people from Kosovo kicked out of Germany. We met their flight as it landed back in Kosovo's capital, Pristina. What will be their next move? Now they're back in a country that has a huge unemployment problem, where the current jobless rate is 28%. In Germany, it's under 4%. Some are bringing back with them children who've known nothing of life in Kosovo. There's perhaps a parallel here with Donald Trump's much criticised attempt to remove the protection rights of the so-called dreamers, offspring of illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, young people in Kosovo still dream, though with a large dose of realism. As one put it, it's hard to go from rock bottom to rock star, but they try. This report's from Laurent Rouy with Galava Crack.
A charter flight from Frankfurt has just landed in Kosovo's capital, Pristina. It's carrying 40 people, deported from Germany, where they'd been working illegally. The family members who have come to pick them up are bitter.
There are no jobs, there's nothing here. Why are they sending these people back? People who've lived there 10, 20 years, whose children were born there. How will those kids adapt to life here?
On average, one of these charters arrives in Pristina each week. Most of those now being repatriated left Kosovo in late 2014 and early 2015. Germany has deported nearly 40,000 Kosovars since then. But around 80,000 are still living abroad. That's 5% of Kosovo's population. On arrival, the repatriates are given advice on reintegration at this special Interior Ministry office inside the airport.
This is the kind of email we receive from a German ministry. It contains all the information about the returnees' health and so on. In short, any information about the repatriated people that may be used when they come to our office. So the ones who have just landed, they're starting to come in. What's your name?
Dol.
May we ask you some questions?
Do you have any health problems, either you or your son?
I don't know what I'm going to do. I've come from the city of Munster. They just caught me. I knew it could happen, but I wasn't expecting it now, because my girlfriend, who's pregnant, is still there. I didn't think they would go so far as to deport me.
The doors of the European Union are now closed to these migrants. The best Duli and his son may hope for is some small financial assistance to start rebuilding their lives. Also among the deportees is Rosafa, 50 years old and a recent widow. She's stunned to be back here so suddenly.
They came in at 3 a.m. They didn't knock on the door or anything. When they came in...
With no other option, Rosafa goes to stay with her brother in the south of the country. In Kosovo, being deported is seen as shameful, which is why Rosafa asked us to hide her true identity, though she was keen to describe her ordeal.
I was handcuffed like this. I had a hat on my head which was suffocating me. I could barely breathe. I was harassed. Until 11 a.m. I was handcuffed with my hands behind my back. I had applied for the right to work several times, but I wasn't granted that. I didn't want to be dependent on the state. I wanted to earn everything on my own. I wasn't given a chance like the others.
There are very few jobs in Kosovo. Most young people dream of leaving. And for those with skills in demand in EU countries, it can work out. At this NGO, a German-funded program is helping some young people to make the move. Like Yetmira, who's 18 and recently graduated from a specialized medical high school in her hometown of Djakova. She's applying for a job as a nursing assistant in Stuttgart.
When I go there, I will create my own life. I'm not dependent on my family anymore. And I can help my family also with money and economical issues. And also after that, I can go to university if I want to, because I want to be a doctor in the future.
The programme includes language classes and a course on life in Germany. Successful candidates will first be given training at a retirement home and then a working visa.
I'm actually very privileged to be here because most of the people who want this opportunity cannot get accepted here.
These are the immigrants that the German state wants, the chosen few. For the few hundred young Kosovars lucky enough to be among them each year, it's a golden opportunity.
So, this is the candidates who were chosen for the project. Here we have photo of the candidates when they arrived to German airport in Stuttgart, Germany. Demand in Germany for nurses in the field of caring for older people is very huge. So we have a cooperation with a German social enterprise. It is called Diakony in Baden-Württemberg of Germany.
Those who cannot leave must try to scrape a living however they can. Informal, undeclared work is the norm in Kosovo, except in the public sector, where jobs are reserved for those who loyally support the government. Yet successive administrations have done little to earn that support. The economy is dependent on remittances from abroad, and a tenth of the population lives on less than €1 a day. Since the war ended in 1999, Kosovo has been ruled by the Albanian guerrilla commanders who led the fight for independence. Their governments have been inefficient and deeply corrupt.
The effect of corruption on population is service delivery. Of course, you have an ineffective government, you have ineffective municipalities, you have capital investment that fail within a year or two, and that's the issue. That's how we feel as the people that the institutions are corrupt. On the other hand, you see the politicians getting richer and richer every day.
In the country's Serbian areas, the economic situation is no better. Peter Aksic teaches chemistry in a Serbian school in eastern Kosovo.
Take a seat.
There is only one pupil. In this town, Gilan, the Serb population has almost disappeared. But Serbs who live in separate enclaves still make up 6% of Kosovo's overall population.
Here's the Serb village of Stanisor. Albanians also live there now. Nothing special.
Peter Aksic spends part of his free time visiting small villages in the east, trying to persuade the last few Serb families living there not to sell up and leave Kosovo for good.
And from Gnjilan to here, there were never any Albanians living here before. Albanians bought these properties from Serbs, normally, legally. Payment was completed. Those are old Serbian houses there. There's not even one family still living there.
Many rural folk prefer to try their luck in Serbia rather than staying in these remote areas.
How are you, my friend?
Good. And you?
This forest in front of us, has it been sold?
This one's sold. That one too. And also the one up there. And it's the same next to Sasha. Do you know him? The land around his house has been sold.
Serbs used to be in the majority in this village, but almost all of them have left, selling their land to Kosovo Albanians.
All I see is people with trucks, and they're all leaving. No one's doing anything to stop them. Not the local authorities or whoever's in charge, nor the Serbian government. The social situation is poor. People are barely surviving. On the other hand, inter-ethnic relations between Serbs and Albanians are very good in this region.
In the village of Zebince, there's only one Serbian family left, that of this farmer, Zoran Stanojevic. He tries to eke out a living by growing berries. He also says he has no problems with his new Albanian neighbours. His problem is that he cannot sell his produce for enough money to earn a decent living.
For the moment, I do not plan to leave, although I have two sons. One of my sons is in Serbia at the moment, but he didn't have any choice. It was for his medical specialization. He couldn't find a place here.
Serbs are leaving urban areas too. Even North Mitrovica, the Serbian enclave, still holding out against Kosovo's independence. For a long time, this river marked the border between the two communities. But as Serbs leave, ever more Albanians are buying houses on their side. Flags hanging across the streets bear witness to this change. Northern Mitrovica is still a stronghold of Serbian nationalism in Kosovo, but it's changing. Recently, after a moderate local politician was murdered, Serbia's President Aleksandar Vučić visited Kosovo to check out the situation in Serbian-populated areas.
Yes, it's hard. We live surrounded by Albanians. For instance, I live in an area where all my neighbours are Albanian. It's a matter of real pride that the president came. It gives us hope for better days to come. And I tell you something, we're going to stay. We don't have anywhere to go. This is Serbian land, sacred land, and no one can chase us away.
In some parts of Mitrovica, physical barriers still divide the northern Serb areas from Albanian districts in the south. But not everywhere. Many feel they only strengthen the Serbs' sense of isolation and further degrade living conditions in the town. Back in the capital, Yetmira and her friends are celebrating some good news. One of them, Yetlir, looks likely to get a green card, opening the door to emigration to the USA. His profile as a student of robotics, useless in Kosovo, is attractive to America's high-tech industry. He just found out he's been pre-selected.
That is like 1 in 200 people getting selected, so that's an amazing opportunity, and I will have the interview in the upcoming months, and hopefully I'll get the visa and move to USA and just chase my dreams.
It was my first job at the age of 20. The salary wasn't that high, it was 150, and I remember the last salary, they didn't give it to me the money because the business was failing. But what can you do?
For us as young people, we can't go. It's very difficult to progress on your own efforts, right? Like you would in a developed country, like in France or US or Germany or Switzerland, right? It's very extremely difficult to like go from rock bottom to rock star, right? In your career, in your financially, right? It's very difficult.
None of these 5 friends sees their professional future in Kosovo.
People are very tired of being jobless because you go to a lot of places and you apply and you don't get accepted. I want to study, I want to travel the world and do a lot of things.
10 years after independence, Kosovo seems unable to offer any opportunity to its brightest young people. And by losing them, the country is even further jeopardizing its chances of development.
And our reporter, Laurent Rouy, joins us now. Laurent, thank you so much for your report. In it, we saw people really struggling to get by. Tell us more about the hardship of life in Kosovo. How difficult is it for people?
Well, the problem is that for Kosovo is that this is the second poorest country in Europe. This is the reason why Kosovo people try to immigrate, mostly to Switzerland and or to Germany. In some cases, some of them had to pay for the smugglers, so they sold their houses, they sold their belongings, and spent a lot to go there in the EU, but were kicked back, and now they have to start from the scratch in Kosovo, a poor country with no more house, no more car, no more connection. So it is very hard for them to start again from scratch. It's
a tragic series of events that you're describing, Laurent. Now, from the German perspective, I imagine the view is slightly different. Immigration being a hot button topic in Germany. How do the Germans see this Kosovo problem?
Well, there are 2 aspects to it. First of all, the major Kosovo exodus in peacetime was the winter 2014-15, and an estimated 120,000 people from Kosovo left their country to go mostly to Germany. And at that moment, Germany had the capacity to welcome them. But right after started the big Syrian refugee crisis with 1 million people crossing the Balkan and coming to Germany, and other countries, with Angela Merkel saying that Germany would welcome them. So basically, they had to make space in the shelters to welcome to the Syrian refugees. And right after 2015, one could witness a very obvious process of Germany kicking out illegal immigrants from the Balkans out of Germany in order to make some space for the Syrian newcomers. So this setback for them is quite new. On the other hand, Germany badly needs some skilled workers, especially in the field of health. So this is why they organize some kind of, they cherry pick migrants, and then for those skilled migrants that they would cherry pick, they get the visa, they got the working permit, they got the job even before they start to live. So it's a very different way from the other EU countries that Germany has to organize its migration.
We saw in your film the problems that the situation is causing between Albanians and Serbs within Kosovo. Tell us more about that.
Well, first of all, ethnic violence, this is something from the past. Till the end of the years 2000, violence against Serbs and even some deadly cases were not uncommon. But this is something that apparently totally stopped. Now the Serbs, who are about 140,000 in Kosovo, still live in enclaves here and there around the territories. And they are marginalized economically, but they are politically represented in the institution of Kosovo. They have some seats in the parliament, they have some ministries in the government. So except in some small villages and in the nationalistic stronghold of northern Mitrovica, where the tension is still high, there are no bad relations between Serbs and Albanians. Simply, they live apart in their words, they speak their languages, and they do not have much of contact.
Laurent Rouy, thank you very much indeed for that analysis, and thank you for your film, which of course you, the viewer, can see again via our website France24.com. This is Reporters on France 24. Stay with us.